So tonight will be one of those. Okay. If it goes well, then dinner's on me. If it's not, that's the reason you would have come anyway. Okay. So we are Vedic Vision Society, and as Yashodanandan said, I had been associated with this organization or this group for 16 years since 2003. Actually, in this building, in this room for many, many years. So after doing this for 16 years, today is a very, I should say, bittersweet evening for me. It's sweet because it's always very, very rewarding to see a room full of hungry Indian students and a few who want to test out Indian food and wondering what it's about. I'm just being silly. Bitter because after doing this for 16 straight years, this is my, I guess, last talk on IIT campus because we're moving out of Chicago next Saturday. After 24 years in Chicago, we're heading directly east of here. We're moving to Cleveland, Ohio. And so we're leaving behind many, many, many friends that have helped us, have been with us. And so we're going to a place where we don't know anyone. We just have work situation and we're going to make friends there. Which means if you're ever driving through Cleveland, please look us up. We'd love to have you. And I can promise you, we can also match that dinner. Often, we follow certain things in life, certain patterns, behaviors, even rituals maybe. For example, if it's Christmas, there is a particular ritual that we follow with gifts and food and a certain menu of food, etc. Or if you're from India or any other place, depending on the festival you're observing, there are certain rituals we observe. And how many of you have asked the question, why we do what we do? Just 3 of you? Really? None of you has asked why? Okay, I'm sure. Don't be shy. I'm not the shy kind. I like little banter and I will openly pull your leg. So don't worry about it. So when you asked why, what answers did you get? Seema, what answer did you get? I'm randomly assigning names to people.
I don't know, we are doing this because, our elders say that.
Correct.
Those kind of answers I always get.
Yes.
I have heard this that we are celebrating, and most of our Hindu festivals are goodness over evil, and that's the reason we'll be celebrating.
Okay, great.
So it's just a celebration.
Just a celebration. Okay, great. Anyone got to shut up and just do as I say?
I have heard some stories behind the festival.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead. When? Good. I like that. No, that's totally fine. Already my first casualty here. When we follow a particular tradition, ritual, festival, whatever, why do we do what we do if you have asked that? And what answer did you get?
Well, in the past, I guess, I've been told because we want to follow God and get closer to God and be on God's good side, but that's like the Christian perspective.
Sure, it's very similar to generally if you're from India. Anyone from India here? No, don't answer. No. So there was a washerman in India, we call them dhobi, who had a very, very loyal donkey because they would carry the bundle of clothes from one place to another and bring them back. And that donkey worked very, very hard for many years for the washerman. And every evening after a full day's worth of heavy burden lifting, he would leave the donkey to sort of stroll here and there and eat whatever he likes, and the donkey would bray loudly. But for the washerman, the voice of the donkey was very sweet. So very lovingly he named his donkey Sunanda Gandharva. Sunanda means one who gives a lot of pleasure. Gandharva means the person who has very exquisite voice. So he called his donkey Sunanda Gandharva. After many years of working hard, the donkey grew old and one day died. And as it is the custom in India that when a dear relative dies, people shave their head. And this is my hairstyle. I don't have any one like that. I'm just saying. Generally, people will shave their head. So the washermen went to the riverside to look for the village barber. And the washerman was crying, and the barber said, "What happened?" He said, "What can I tell you? Today is a very sad day. Today Sunanda Gandharva died. So please shave my head." So the barber did so, and he got late. The next assignment for the barber was to shave the minister of that kingdom. So when he went late, the minister asked, "Why are you late?" He said, "Didn't you know, my dear sir, today is a very special day. Today, Sunanda Gandharva died." So the minister said, "Oh, I did not know that." Obviously, Sunanda Gandharva was not as popular as some celebrity. He said, "Oh, I did not know that. Then you please shave my head too." And so the barber did so. Then the minister went to the king's court for his day's work. The king saw him and said, "You look different. Why did you shave your head?" He said, My dear Lord, Your Majesty, what can I say? Today is a very special day. Today?" The king said, "Oh, thank you for telling me. I had no idea. Call the royal barber." So the royal barber was called. The king sat down. The barber sharpened his razor and was about to make the first cut when the queen walked by. And she asked the king, "That's very unusual. What happened?" And the king said, "Very good, you're catching on." The queen was very smart. She asked a question. Hey, you guys are good. "Who is Sunanda Gandharva?" And the king said, I don't know. I heard it from the minister. Call the minister, please." And so the minister came running. He said, "Who is Sunanda Gandharva?" And the minister said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I'll have to ask the barber who did this." So the barber was summoned to court. And the barber was shaking, and the king said, "Who is Sunanda Gandharva?" He said, "I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I'll have to ask the washerman because I have no idea." Because they were thinking it was someone very special. The washerman came in and he said, "Majesty, Sunanda Gandharva is my donkey that died today." And the king felt, partly embarrassed and partly saved by the queen that she asked a very simple question: why? And so Vedic Vision Society is, the intent for us to put this student group together was, so hopefully we can ask why and get some answers for why. As a young boy growing up in a traditional Hindu family, but and then even in America, I've been here more than I've lived in India. So it's been I came as a graduate student back in 1995. That tells you my age. Don't calculate it. And I asked questions. Why? Sometimes I got, some explanation. Sometimes I got what you said. Sometimes, and many times I said, why can't you just follow? If so many generations are doing this, why can't you just follow? And for me, it was a hard sell. I should know why I'm doing what I'm doing. If I don't know the why, I can't put my heart into it. And so my quest began, and because I got some answers, or actually many answers, I felt it's nothing but my, duty to share that. And that's how Vedic Vision Society in IIT actually took root and started growing. Okay. So the reason it's called Vedic Vision Society, the 3 words, and we're just going to spend some time thinking about it. The word Vedic comes from the Sanskrit word Veda. If I had more time, I'd ask you, what does Veda mean? I don't have. He's given me only 35 minutes to do as minimal damage as I can. So I'm just going to go through it. The word Veda literally means knowledge. Generally, people think it's some old Hindu books that have funny stuff, unbelievable, mind-bending exaggerations perhaps. All that set aside, the word Veda means knowledge. And true knowledge means when you know what something is meant for and use it in its right purpose. The example I usually give is that of a marker. We call this a marker, but if I had not known this, I could use this to use this as a paperweight. I could use it to throw at someone. I could use it for other purposes. But I'm in knowledge when I use this to write on the board. So the word Veda means knowledge. And Vedic would mean relating to or pertaining to knowledge. Now we're all sitting in a university campus, right? And I'm assuming if I ask you, your answer will be, I'm here because I want to study. Silence, right? I'm assuming that. Now, what we are studying or knowledge is about at least three, I would say, spheres of stuff. One is material knowledge, knowledge about matter, about physics, chemistry, biology, engineering, industrial design, computer science, name it. Generally about stuff and how to move stuff, how to make stuff better, faster, cheaper, whatever, efficient, etc. So that's pretty much what is covered within what we say material science. Then there are some sciences that are a little, what I'd say, finer. Finer in the sense there isn't something physical for it, like the fields of psychology. Sometimes we use the word metaphysics, something that is not visible, but there is some effect of it, etc. So that's what most universities will work with. And that's what's there in the Vedas as well. Vedas are these vast, is this vast body of knowledge that contains all about science, engineering, warfare, weaponry, you name it, it's there. So that's only one part or a small part of the Vedas. Then the meta, the metaphysical, something beyond what is visible is also there. Whether you call it psychology, sometimes they call it yoga, meditation, the finer aspects of meditation, the kundalini, etc., things that terminology that's being used very popularly, that's also there. That's also a small part of it. Then there is something which we say spiritual. Now the word spiritual is probably, I would say, one of the most abused and ill-used words. People say, I have had this spiritual experience. But you ask them what it is, and I'm sorry to say, most likely it isn't. It's a good feeling, which they term as spiritual. But the word spiritual has to do with what we say, spirit. Or in Sanskrit, the word is Atma. Now, whether Atma is there or not, can we see it or not, is this whole debate. But the Vedas describe and even go into details of what's the Atma or soul. Why is that important? Without that, what's the loss, and how to go about experiencing, perhaps even visualizing the soul. So Vedic Vision Society is not to help you with your engineering assignments. Just in case, I just want to make sure. Yashodhanandan has absolutely no idea of chemistry. He's an architect and now he's crunching numbers. He's a finance director somewhere, and so he's not going to help you with engineering. I'm leaving. Even if I knew anything, I'm gone. And I'm not giving you my phone number or email. So we're not even dealing with the meta. Our interest is in perhaps igniting some interest in you about the soul. And first of all, is there a soul or not? How do you get to know whether there is a soul or not? Are there some empirical ways in which you understand it? What are other philosophers across the world? What is their contribution? What is the Vedic sages' contribution into this field, etc., is what we'll focus on. And I know over the years of my experience, I've found a lot of conversation, sometimes debates, sometimes challenges, which is all good. When you challenge an idea, it means you're thinking. Generally, you give a talk and you have sometimes an audience that is just dead silent. And you wonder, is it because they agree with everything that I've said? And that's why there is absolutely no question? Or is it that they don't agree with anything and they're thinking about something else? They're just sitting here wondering, when will he shut up and when will I get dinner? In Sanskrit, the word for intelligence is buddhi. Right? And I'm sorry if you don't understand Hindi, I'm just going to one word. There's a very small difference between the word buddhi and buddhu. Buddhu means unintelligent or foolish, and buddhi means intelligent or buddhiman. And so it is said that one's buddhi is active when there are doubts. Right? If there is no doubt, either you're fully convinced or it's just not active. So I urge you, don't just sit there and take it, right? Think and feel free to ask, challenge. I've noticed over the years that when I've presented, a lot of people have a certain background, a certain, I would say, bias, a cultural bias, perhaps a religious bias, a philosophical bias, or just some ideological bias which they come in with. And that's okay. But be open-minded to consider and juxtapose what you hear and ask to clarify and contribute. It's not just one way. I know everything and you guys don't. I never assume that. I assume that these dialogues or these conversations are for enriching myself too. Because I'd love to hear what you think about it. I'd love to hear what's your experience, etc., etc. And not just me, each one raising a question or sharing their experience or sharing their views is going to enrich others as well. And that is why we call this the society. So the idea of coming together and enriching each other, growing with each other, and moving forward into this quest of who am I, for example. If I were to ask any of you, who are you? Or if you have to fill in who am I, the answer for it, what might you say? You can sample, just for the heck of it. If I were to ask you, what would you answer for who am I? What would you say?
The name and what do you do?
The name and what do you do? Yeah, that's what most people do there. Anything else? Let's be specific. So you give a name. Aarti.
Yeah. If I'm saying that you ask me who am I, I say my name, what I'm doing in the US, what is my course. That's what the background there is.
Correct. And can that change? Yes. So who am I then becomes relative. Okay, great. I'm sorry, you had something?
I would say I'm a spirit soul.
Hey! All right, we're done. Thank you. Dinner's ready. You said I'm soul. Okay, that's a hard sell yet, but that's perfectly right. Sometimes people give their name, or they say I am a man or a woman, or I am Indian, I'm American, I'm human. Range of things. I'm a student. I am a son. I am a daughter. What'd you say?
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. I've been constantly looking there to know when I like the honesty. I'm hungry too. Just a sidebar. I took a train from Grays Lake to get here to Union Station at 6:10 so that I can be here by 6:30. I've not sat on a metro for many, many years. What is the chance that I take a train today and that one train abruptly stops at some station because they have a technical issue? And the technical issue is as bizarre as it can get. Some adult did something to a baby, so they need an investigating officer to show up, and we're just sitting there in the train. After about 20 minutes, they said, everyone get off, get to the other side of the platform. We're going to get another train to come for you. Another 20 minutes pass by, and a train shows up. I get on that train, and instead of 6:10, I get off the train at 7 o'clock. Right? So I'm also hungry. So we'll wrap it up quick. After we quickly work on vision, Vedic vision. We do generally use the phrase, seeing is believing. And if I see something, it exists. If I don't see something, it doesn't exist, most likely, right? Sometimes when we talk of the word God, some people, have a jolt. And most question is, have you seen God? So if you're not seen, why should I believe? And over the course of the discussions, we do ask, can anyone show us that they have a mind? Can someone show us that they have intelligence? If I ask my parents, they would for sure, I don't have any. So it's not that what you see necessarily is the evidence for something to exist. So this vision then is, at least according to the Vedic perspective, vision is improved by hearing. Hearing about or hearing from the Vedic body of knowledge. And the classic example that is given in about hearing, and hearing actually improves vision, is that it's a Vedic story. A teacher and some of his students were walking along one night. Okay, the sun had set, it was dark. And as they came along on the street, they found a piece of rope. But they did not know it was a piece of rope. It looked as if it was a snake. And so everyone was startled. So the teacher had to shine a little lamp and to say, that is not a snake, it's a rope. And because they heard from him or her, they know that what appears to be a snake is indeed a rope. So more than seeing, at least the Vedic view of it is, more than seeing, our vision is improved by hearing about truth. And I'll end with this. Our teacher, Srila Prabhupada, would often give this example that empirically, anyone here who does research design? Okay, then I can say anything and you won't know what I'm talking about. I have the full liberty of making it up. So if I want to find out who my father is, there are two ways, more than two, but two ways, let's say, to find out. One is the empirical method. And I create a research design that assuming that he must be at least 18 years older than I, unless he was really very adventurous in college. 18 years older than I, hopefully. And then I sort of say, must be in this universe of men on this planet, must be from within a certain physical location. In my case, let's say India. Now, as soon as I introduce that as a limiter, I have excluded possibilities. It could be possible that that person who's my father is not in India anymore, right? Could have traveled to Europe, Africa, China, wherever. But I do say, okay, within this, male between 18 and 80, there's a possibility he could have died. So as I go through this, then I might say, with these kinds of look, that kind of DNA makeup, and then I have to find every male within that demographic to test and to find out. And every DNA test is how much accurate generally? Statistically speaking, we accept anything that falls within 95%, right? 2 standard deviations away, we don't generally take. Because if I want to be 99% sure, my costs increase like anything, right? So the amount of time it would take, even if I find out that if the person is in India, by the time I test and reach that person, it may be too late. I might die. It just takes such a long time. So it's time consuming, it's very expensive, and perhaps error ridden, right? And so Srila Prabhupada would say there's the other way, is you ask the mother. Now sometimes I've been challenged, what if the mother doesn't know? And my answer is that's very unfortunate. What else can I say? But generally they ask the mother. It's the very, very simple and accurate answer. Right? So it saves money, it saves time, it saves the effort, and quite accurate, truthful. And that is by just asking the question, right? Asking and hearing instead of testing and all of that. So both methods are all right, but one method may not get us the answer. So Vedic vision is about hearing from the Vedas or the Vedic body of knowledge. So that's why we're here on campus. We hope that you'll join us on this journey. I can promise you one thing, it definitely will stimulate your intelligence, it will definitely stimulate your sense of inquiry. I hope it does. And please don't feel shy to ask. So with that, I'm going to end. Okay, I'm going to end. I am going to end. And if you have any questions or thoughts, I think the best would be we'll have a more informal chat while we're serving dinner. Because I don't want to hold people up. I've already been here longer. Is that okay? So thank you for joining us. I'm sorry I don't know your names. I just didn't get the time to go through it. Hopefully we'll meet again, Yashodanandan willing and inviting me. If I do happen to come to Chicago, I'd love to come see you all. Okay? So thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, I guess, semester. And most of you are here first time from India, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot to explore. Chicago can get very, very cold. And I was told, I learned it this way, that when winter sets in, which it will quite soon, the secret is to not buy one thick jacket or coat. Please don't do that. You should have a nice one, but the secret is to wear layers. The better you are layered, the warmer you are. And you can always regulate the temperature by removing or reducing the layers. If it's one thick coat, it's either too warm or too cold. Right? So please, one more thing, just finally. For those who come from India, when the winter sets in, please never, never walk out without socks and without a hat or covering your ears. It's the quickest way to destroy your lungs, faster than smoking. Okay? So please make sure that you're dressed warm and enjoy Chicago. It's a fantastic city. It's been home for us for 24 years, and so I hope you get fun out of it as much as we did. So thank you. Good night, and good luck to all of you.